Today on the Tony Kosack Show, I have Matt Johnson, the CEO of SOClogix. Let's jump into it. The purpose of this podcast is to inspire small business owners to take that next step, to put one foot in front of the other, to try and go to the next level. So I hope that these interviews of local business owners in the DMV help inspire you to go for your goals. Okay, Matt. Well, thanks for being on the show. Today I have Matt Johnson, the CEO of SOClogix, on today. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's end of the year, so life is good.
Yeah. End of the year planning already
Yep.
getting started.
Yep. Yeah. End of the year, next year planning. The whole shebang.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Matt, what I wanted to do today is just get an idea of your story. So I was hoping before we get into kind of like how you got into SockLogix, why
Mhm.
don't you tell us what SockLogix is and kind of what you're doing now before, and we'll build up into
Sure.
it.
Yeah. So SOClogix, we're a cybersecurity company here in Baltimore, just outside of Baltimore in Catonsville, actually. We've
Okay.
been here since roughly about 2014. We My biggest thing was I wanted to bring cybersecurity to businesses who couldn't really afford cybersecurity.
Okay.
At the time, only big companies, Fortune 500s were able to buy cyber. So my entire goal was to bring it to small mom and pop shops, medium-sized companies, and we've been doing that pretty effectively since about 2014.
Wow. So kind of was there anything in particular in that made you want to, hey, listen, I mean, what happened to say, listen, this is kind of like a niche I'm going to go into.
Yeah,
You know
for
what
me,
I
it started
mean?
with I don't know if you remember the Target breach, but the Target breach that happened years ago. Was it
I
was
can't say that I recall personally,
Yeah.
but I know that there have
Yeah.
been them.
Yeah, so many years ago, and I can't remember the exact year, Target was had a breach, they were hacked, but it wasn't through Target, it was through like one of their secondary vendors, which was a HVAC company. And it kind of
Okay.
made me realize that all the big companies were spending a lot of money on cyber, but you have all these vendors and other people who still touch your business, and if they're not spending enough money or doing anything to protect them, then it makes everyone kind of liable or fallible to getting hacked. So we decided when I first started this with a previous partner that we wanted to kind of bring it out to the masses.
Okay. Well, that's great, man. That's great. So when you say cybersecurity for the guy that might not know that he doesn't know what he doesn't know, you know what I mean?
Right.
What would you say that business needs for your services? What is it that they need in regards to why they need to go ahead and, work with
Yeah,
you?
yeah. So our entire business is about two things: data protection and reputation protection.
Gotcha.
You lose your reputation when your data gets stolen,
Yeah.
and then when your data gets stolen, you lose time, money, and everything else. Most businesses who have data stolen or get ransomware, forget the statistic, but around 60% of them go out of business shortly afterwards.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. I did not know that
yeah.
statistic.
So really, as I always tell people, yeah, we're in cybersecurity, but really we're in reputation protection and brand and data protection. And people don't realize it that, even the smallest of businesses or, like if you're a construction company, you still have customer data. You might have customer credit cards. You just don't know what you have until it's gone. And then, someone's selling
Hmm.
it out on the internet. So really our entire focus of cyber, what we do to break it down to layman's terms is we protect your business from, reputation loss and data loss.
Wow. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And I can see why that is extremely valuable,
Yep.
and definitely something that you're offering the small business owner.
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit about how you got up to SockLogix. I know you've been the CEO of another company. Tell me a little bit about, kind of what built you up to say, you know what, I think SockLogic is exactly what I'm going to do now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in IT since probably I was 19 years old working,
Oh, okay.
I've had every job from network administrator to project manager to network manager. I was working for a company that had actually stopped paying us.
Oh,
And I
wow.
told a friend of mine, I was like, if I'm not going to get paid, I might as well go out and do this on my own and not get paid.
Yeah.
So I started a small IT company back in like 2013, 2012.
Okay.
And from there, we pivoted to a cybersecurity. We had found that IT was great, but there was still a niche for cyber, and
Yeah.
I really liked it and liked what we were doing with it. So we kind of I guess, rotated the company over to doing just strictly cyber, changed the name to Failing Secure Solutions, which we ran as the company for a long time. Problem with that name was it was so long, nobody could say it. So,
Right.
so a few years after that, we decided that we wanted to do a rebrand and we wanted to kind of make it a little catchy and trendy. So we shortened it to SOClogix.
Yeah.
SOC was Security Operations Center, which is what we run. And then Logix was an X just because it sounded cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about the story of once you started to where you are now in SockLogic. Like, has it been an easy, just a straight line path? Is it,
Oh God, no.
have you,
I've had
you know what I
I've had
mean? Have you hit any
yeah,
bumps in the
I've had
road?
bad business partners. I've had investors who come in and promise the world and don't deliver anything.
Yeah.
When I first started the company, I had a partner who came out of the government and had all these pipe dreams and lots of really cool things that we were going to do. We went out and spent a lot of money on his recommendations.
Yeah.
And then he decided one day that he wanted to go back to the government because private life wasn't for him, and just kind of
Mm.
left me holding the basket, so to say, with a bunch of payroll and not a lot of sales at the time. So there were some dark months back. I would say the 2016 area where you got lights off, you're hiding from vendors, you're trying not to keep your BGE on, things like that. But
Yeah.
one of the things we did was for myself is pretty much went to work every day, went to the office every day, kind of put one foot in front of the other, and you just I have a big saying that says sales solves all issues. Um,
Yes.
so just kept pushing forward, trying to get sales, but definitely hasn't been a straight line. A couple years after that, we had a company out of the UK that wanted to buy us. So we
Okay.
entered into an agreement with them. We actually did a share swap for a while, and then we come to find out they were basically a giant, like almost like a pyramid scheme where they were getting money from investors but weren't actually selling anything.
Oh my
So we
goodness.
finally, right before COVID, we were able to put it back where I got back, control of failing slash SOClogix and kind of move forward. So yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay.
we've had some ups
Well,
and downs, but I would say since COVID, we've been doing pretty good. Actually through COVID and since COVID, we're steadily tracking up. We have some issues here and there, of course, always. 2024 was kind of a weird year with a couple of weird instances of things that unfortunately I can't talk about. But
right.
2025 for us is looking to be pretty phenomenal. I brought in two new executive partners at about the middle of the year, and we spent the last 6 months kind of reshaping some of the practices we would do, some of the services we're offering, and some of the way we do
Okay.
things. And it's already starting to pay off in tenfold. So
Wow. Well, that is a lot to
yeah,
unfold,
yeah,
and I can definitely see how it hasn't been one easy straight line for
right,
you. Kind of if it's okay, let's start in the beginning. I mean,
yeah.
when you were kind of left holding the bag, like what were you doing to go out there and get sales? Like how were you persevering? What were you doing on a daily basis? I know you said putting your
Yeah.
foot in front of one in front of the other, but like what were you doing where other business owners would be like, you know what, man, if I just got to keep plugging away. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about what
Yeah,
you
so it
guys
was,
were doing,
you know,
what
it
you were
was it
doing.
was grim sometimes, but I would come in, make contacts. I spent a lot of time researching, things in the Baltimore area to go out and meet people. So get out, go meet people, make sure to follow up, and just always try to put forward some kind of, plan to get more sales in the door. Uh,
Yeah.
for a long time, I looked for like, investment or loan type things, but for small businesses, when you're starting on your own, there's really just not much out there for you.
Right. It's all bootstrapping, right?
Yep. Yeah, so we bootstrapped it. Uh, Luckily I had some good relationships with vendors back then. So like I called one vendor, I was like, look, I need 90 days. Like just give
Yeah.
me 90 days to kind of like fix a few things. And they were very easy to work with.
Okay.
But really it's not so much it's kind of your mindset too, Like my mindset was I wasn't giving up. I
Yeah,
knew I
that's
knew what I
awesome.
wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to go work for somebody else. This is always what I've always wanted to do. And you have to kind of get through that. Then you have to kind of get through the negative, I guess we'd call them negative Nancy's. Like you get a lot of people in your life that, or, tell you should just quit or stop or, why you're continuing. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Hey, definitely. I think every entrepreneur goes through some sort of what you just mentioned. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Where it's kind of like, all right, well, what are we going to do next? We got to
Yep.
keep moving forward. So you
Yeah.
definitely got that mindset and you were able to get squared away there,
Yep.
get some sales here and there, and then kind of what did you do to kind of take it to that next level once you got your footing back under you, once you got your feet under you again? What did you do to say, okay, now I can really springboard this effect?
I don't know if I really have ever springboarded it. We've just kind of always been kind of moving steadily up, like kind of an incline plane. The
Okay.
things that I've had luck that worked out well for me is I've onboarded a couple of really good employees at the very beginning that have stuck with it through thick and thin.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
so having those behind have been a big help. And then just, every now and then you meet that right partner. Like I have a relationship with a really good IT company. I don't know, they have offices in New Jersey and Florida, and they're the we have the kind of relationship which everyone should have, is where if like I know that like I'm a little bit short of something, I say, hey Matt, let's make a trade. How about I give you like a discount for some invoices and you give me like 20 grand this month or something. And
Oh, okay.
things like that have helped. But that's the kind of relationship, like if you don't have a good relationship with like your customer or something like that, you can't do that with everybody. Like if I have
Right.
100 customers, there might be two people I can go and propose that kind of deal to.
Relationship for. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
definitely. And it definitely seems like communication
Yep.
is the key
Hmm.
there between both parties
Yep,
to be like,
definitely.
hey man, this is what I'm doing. I'm good for it. And then
Hmm.
they're like, you know what? We've definitely been together for a long time and moving forward that way. I definitely
Yep.
see
And,
where
and I'll
you're
be
coming
honest,
from.
sometimes luck plays a big part. I mean, we got one of our biggest customers on Christmas Eve because we were the only company that answered the phone when they were having a massive cyber attack.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What was that? That was last year?
No, this was in 2019. They've been a customer ever since.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I was the only person to answer the phone on Christmas Eve. We ran right out and worked 4 straight days getting them resolved. And then they've been a customer pretty much ever since.
That's awesome. So, basically getting that mindset right and
Hmm.
then executing on the plan that you've put in
Right.
place and
Mhm.
then continually being there for your customers is what you're doing.
Yep. And
I love that,
consistency.
man. I love
Consist
that.
and consistency. You can't go to the office 3 days a week and then not go two and expect that, you're going to be successful. I mean, for a long time I pretty much lived in my office. Thank God I have a supportive family.
Yeah.
But that helps
Okay.
also. But yeah, there were days why we were, getting there at 6 and leaving at like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, just to make sure that all the customers were happy and reports were done. And
So when you're interacting with your customers, how tell me a little bit about that. Is that a daily type of thing? Is that a weekly? Like
so
how
it,
often are you providing customer service as opposed to, putting out fires?
Right. So it used to be all the time. I would say back in the beginning, up until just a few years ago, I was spending the bulk of my weeks, working on customer tickets, working with customers, putting out fires, not really building the business. But in
Hmm.
the last couple of years, my son, who's 27, joined the company about 5 years ago, and he's really
Okay.
he's really kind of taken on that role as our chief technologist.
Oh
So he
wow.
now he now puts out the fires and works with the customers to allow me the
Okay.
time to go out and try and make new contacts and build business and things like that.
Hmm.
I mean, I actually went on a vacation, my first vacation in years. I only pulled my laptop out once. It was pretty nice.
That's awesome. Where'd you
Yeah.
go?
We took my father-in-law on a 7-day cruise out of New Orleans.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That's
Yep.
awesome. So you've kind of given me an idea of how it was in the beginning
Hmm.
and what you had to do to get through to where you are today.
Hmm.
Tell me a little bit about the future. What are you looking for to do now? And and I'm assuming based off your business, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're not just you're located in the DMV, but your business expands
Oh yeah.
outside this
Yeah,
area.
we have customers everywhere. We've done work in the UK, we've done work in the Cayman Islands, we have
Awesome.
customers in California, all the way out to here down to Florida. So
Okay, okay. So yeah, so that's great. So tell me a little bit about what the future looks like. Where are you taking it? Where's now the next level?
yeah, so we're doing now what I call, I guess, like the professionalization of the business. So we've been running the business for a long time, kind of doing things willy-nilly. Like I said, the last 6 months, I've been working with two new executive partners that we brought on to kind of like
Okay.
streamline things, kind of make standardize a lot of what we do. We've created some new programs based on executives and executive incident response and some stuff like that. So we're trying to like make that next jump up to be, almost like the premier level cyber security company that gets hired on by, some of the bigger companies. So
That's
we want to
awesome.
maintain, we still want to maintain our smaller and medium customer base, but now we're looking at, moving one more step forward to some of the bigger customers out there.
Now, does that involve something like that? Okay, doing that where you want to keep your current client base and you want to kind of go into a different market, if you will.
Mhm.
Are you doing that by uh using the same resources that you were using to build the small and medium size clientele, or are you starting a new division and having someone else start that prospecting, if you
Yeah, so
will?
it's kind of a hybrid. We're using the same people for probably about 60% of it. But
Okay.
then there's going to be some growth in some other positions that we'll have to fill that will come from outside people that, kind of have different skill sets than what we have in-house currently.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
okay,
but
okay.
like we just created an agreement with another company that has a skill set we don't have, and we're going to have them do a bunch of work for us as a subcontractor until we get enough of it that we can bring in more people.
Okay, okay. So collaboration.
Yep. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. So now what do you do any marketing beside do you do marketing in
That's why that's
addition
the big
to?
discussion we've been having the last 7 days because one of our new people wants to have like a $20,000 a month marketing budget, and me and the other person are like, well, we think marketing's voodoo, so we don't really know like what to spend it on.
Yeah, yeah,
So
kind of like what area to go into,
yeah,
right?
it's like, do we go Google Ads? Do you go LinkedIn? Do you go like email? So we're that's the big conversation we're gonna be having over the next couple of weeks. We've never really put much money or stock into marketing. It's most of our stuff has been me going out to conferences or meeting people or
Yeah.
referrals, word of mouth, things like that. So now it's time to kind of maybe start thinking about what I was actually looking at is I was watching Hulu last week and I saw an
Okay.
ad for another cybersecurity company. I was like, man, that's kind of cool. And I looked and it's actually fairly inexpensive to like advertise on there.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, compared to doing a TV ad,
Hmm.
doing these types of marketing strategies are less expensive compared to a TV
Right.
ad.
Yep.
And depending on what your target niche is or target audience,
Yeah.
will determine kind of where you want to put that. That's awesome. I see
Yeah.
that
I
you're
was kind of surprised by the pricing. So something we have
oh,
to look
what
into.
that the pricing of
The
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 other
Hulu.
cybersecurity or the pricing to
No, the
do
pricing of the Hulu and how much it is to
oh.
advertise on their site. So
Oh, okay, cool, cool. So now that you're going, so is that something that you're going to be implementing in 2025 where you're
yeah,
going after this?
we're talking about it. We put it into the plan, so hopefully we'll start thinking about what we still have to have a commercial made or a
Yeah.
little 30-second spot. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah, well, there's definitely a lot of relationships out there that if anything I can do, I'll be more than happy to help you out
sure.
with. So tell me about kind of what's next. What's next in regards to, you've got this plan, you've got the strategy. What's next for SOClogix and Matt Johnson?
For SOClogix, we want to pass that. I always say that we want to definitely surpass our revenue goals for next year,
Okay.
and grow the company. I actually want to double the company next year, or
Oh,
triple. So I
wow.
have pretty lofty goals.
Okay.
Mostly because it's with some of the things that we've been working on and with some of the bigger customers we're hoping to get, um, we'll be able to kind of grow in that capacity. For
Be able to
myself,
hit those
yeah,
numbers.
for myself, I by the end of the next year, I'd like to move out of the CEO position and have someone else there and kind of move into
Okay.
more of a presidential or board type where I'm just leading the company and going out and making, all the contacts and letting someone handle day-to-day type operations that,
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man.
no,
I
no one
love
tells
that. I
you.
love that you're still in that
Yeah,
still, hey, how can I get better?
yep,
How can I improve? What can I do to grow? You're
right.
still doing all of that. And
Yeah,
you've been
yeah.
doing this for
There's
almost 10
always
years,
something.
right?
Yep. Yeah, there's always something to do. I mean, like no one told me when I first started the business how much paperwork would be involved in it, things like that. But yeah, no, that is always room for improvement. I mean, I'm constantly reading books and other things and talking to people and taking
Yeah.
classes.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that I do is I like reading a lot of self-help books.
Hmm.
I particularly read some books that are by Navy SEALs just
Yep.
to try and get
Yeah.
into their mindset. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I really appreciated your time this
Sure.
morning. I didn't want to keep you extremely long, but I just wanted to get an idea of your story, kind of, so other people can see that, hey, just because you got the idea, that it's just going to happen. You've got to go in there, and sometimes the might come off, and you got to
Right.
still put one foot in front of the other, get that mindset right, and keep moving. And I really think you've shown that, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with the DMV.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think most people think that they hang a shingle, put up a website, and customers will flow. But there's a lot of work that goes into bringing them in, getting them closed, and just moving forward consistently. And the most embarrassing thing I read happened was we had our BGE shut off one time in like 2016, and
Yeah.
I was like, never again.
Yeah, never again, never again. Well,
Yep.
listen, Matt, thanks again, man. I
No
really
problem.
appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
Wow, what a story. Matt Johnson, CEO of SOClogix. Thank you for your time. Guys, I hope you found some inspiration in that, the struggle, the keeping going, and keep persevering, even including his kids now. So I hope you found that interview to be extremely valuable and were able to take some things away from it. Just in closing, remember, if there's anything that I can do for you, don't hesitate to fill out the form below. I hope you have a great day.